Hi everyone, welcome. I'm going to do a little bit of a tutorial or a color along, something of that sort, whatever you want to call it. If you want to join in, you are welcome. This page is from Coloring Book Cafe. It was a free download, so I'm not sure what book it's out of, but I got a lot of great, if I could talk, questions and remarks about my sky, my clouds, my water, kind of how I pulled it off. Now this is a mixed media page, so quite a lot went into it. But I am going to do kind of a how I did it video. So this is Kerby Rosanes' new book, Mythic World, and it's all about kind of like myths and legends and things like that. So flipping through, and my page is started because I got a phone call. I started recording, just barely started, and got a phone call, so I have to start over. It was easier than trying to remember where I was. So I found this page and I was like, you know what, this is a great sky and water. I want to keep it bright and sunny and beachy feeling. You know, I don't want any wild skies or anything like that because it's just a simple, these trolls were going across the ocean and they got turned into stone before they got to the other side. So nothing real wild. I want to keep it bright and sunny and beachy feeling, even though these poor guys look horrified. So you can do this with any pencils. Your basic colors you will need are whatever blue you're going to use for your sky, a white, and a cream. Now if you're going to do your sun, I use a yellowed orange and a canary yellow. And then I also use a white gel pen. Mine's Arteza, just because I like the little bit thicker tip and it does work well with pencil. And then I'm going to use a dot of eyeshadows, and I'm going to use these grays for the clouds. So this will not be the quickest tutorial, but I hope it finds to be helpful or at least inspirational, one of the two, and that you enjoy it. I will try to like show you the basics and speed through like the coloring and the blending so you don't have to watch me blend for hours, and we will get started. So I started with a peacock blue and I just lined my water, and this is just basically my line between the sky and the water. That was all I did. Then I took true blue and I did not press hard. I went sideways and I just filled in. And I'm going to fill in this section a little darker, but I'm going to leave that light because remember we want a light area before we transition colors. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'm going to try to keep it somewhat even. And if you are having trouble eyeballing it, sometimes I can just go like this. This is about where, so, and I can just make a little mark. And now this is where I want my darker to be. And then I'm going to start transitioning here. These little lines, like this one, because I'm trying not to turn my book, so I'm having a little line, will disappear when I blend with the white. So I am not worried about that. Okay, so, and like I said, just lightly, just barely up so you can't touch it. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to have to turn just a little, otherwise I'm going to get weird pencil strokes. I don't want that. So if you follow across, okay, we're going to just randomly add a couple blue, nothing too harsh. We're not going to put any blue up here just yet. That's just kind of telling us where we want to have a couple darker spots in our light sky. So, okay, the next color we're going to take is going to be cloud blue. And I am going to blend all that, but for now I am just bringing it up. Just getting all the colors in before I worry too much about blending a whole lot of anything. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the clouds just yet. I am just going to work on the base of the sky. Keeping a nice sideways motion as best we can so we don't get any weird lines. All the way to the edge. Nice and dark. And this will come in a little darker when we get that far. Okay, this is where we're going to lightly just tap, just lightly. We don't really want it to be blue up there, but we don't want a hard transition either. Coming back down. Okay, so before I put in my surrounding, I'm going to fill in my sun. So I'm going to take my yellowed orange. If you want a nighttime scene, that would be awesome too. You could do a moon and add your highlight around your moon and do a nice blue sky. Because they do have scared faces. I just wanted a nice, bright, beachy scene for this one. And I will probably grab another copy of this book anyway. I usually do of Kerby's, just because I like to have one pencil and I like to try one like watercolor Inktense styles. Usually I wait till they come out at Walmart and they're little to grab them. So. Okay, trying to keep my sun somewhat rounded here. I don't want any odd shaped to lose my circle motion here. Remembering to leave that nice light fuzzy edge. Okay, then we're coming in with Spanish orange. And I don't want to go all the way to the middle. I just like to use lots of colors to blend because it really, really graduates nicely into the middle color. Nice and light. I'm really excited about this book. Like I said, it just got here, just walked in the door. I was doing a flip through. I number my pages up in the corner so that when I flip to the back, I can be like, oh, this is the myth that goes with this page, and kind of see the story. I ran across this one and I was like, this would be perfect. I just did this sky, but that's okay. Never hurts to practice it again. Okay, this is Canary Yellow, and I'm back blending over all my colors. Getting that nice blend going. Leaving a white dot in the center, best I can. I'm grabbing this. Is my Spanish orange. Making sure I got my edges nice and dark. I'm going to white out the edge of this circle, this black line. I don't want this black line in my sky. So I want to make sure I have the edges nice and dark so that when I black out that line, you can clearly see this sun. Okay, and then I'm taking, you can take a white or a cream. I'm going to do a cream so it's not too harsh. Kind of blending everything out. So there is our sun. Got that done. Okay, I am gonna, so I'm gonna white out the sun and these clouds, but I'm gonna color first because I found if I go in with this gel pen and I outline my sun right now, when I come back and I'm putting in the sky, if I even tap it a little bit with my pencil, it's going to pull that white off, and then I have a weird like white and black circle. So I do that at the end. So this is our cream, and this is where we're going to just kind of start pulling up. Now I did do a tutorial kind of like this in Camellia Angelcova, so if you've seen that one, this will look familiar to you. The only difference is like I said, I'm going to do this one a little more realistic, so it's going to have a few more layers of color, and it's going to have a few more clouds added in than just the transition. So just be aware. I know it kind of looks like I'm doubling up, but this one is a little different. And even if you have seen them both, practice makes perfect. Alright, so here I just take a little bit of my white, because if you mix yellow and blue, sometimes you get green. So I'm just kind of hitting it. So when I come in with this yellow and the blue, because I don't want this insta stop right here, they don't look green. I have to turn my book a little bit and lefty. So now we're coming in with that yellow. Now remember, I am not blending or anything yet, so it looks a little silly. These are just base layer planning phase. I'm going to take a little bit of my lighter blue. This one is Sky Blue Light, and I'm just bringing it up a little. Like I say, we don't want that instant stop. So I'm not going to go everywhere with it. Just a couple spots to give that illusion it's transitioning. Okay, I am going to go ahead and erase my 46 off here just because it's going to be a light color and I don't want it to show through. And I'm going to put a light line of this darker yellow at the top. This is optional. You don't have to. I don't want it exactly straight. I want some spots a little further down than others. Skies aren't perfect. Okay, when I get down here, I am also going to add a line. Okay, when we get around the sun, like I said, we're going to have that white gel pen line, but I want to keep kind of a glow around it. So I'm going to go around it with my white, and then I'm going to go around it with the cream. And that just kind of gives us that nice glow around the sun. Okay, so now that I kind of got everything planned, this is my Canary Yellow. I'm going to pull it down. Kind of doing this quick style because I don't want to take forever, but try to keep your layers even. We don't want any going down a little in a spot. And you can see it's very random. I'm not really thinking about it, not really placing it anywhere special, just wherever my hand feels like it should probably go down a little further. Okay, and this spot right here is all going to be yellow. Okay, so I feel like that is starting to look great, and you can see what's going to happen once we get it all blended. So this is where I will start back at my bottom, true blue. I add one more little line, just to give this guy something. Okay, make sure I get the edges. Then you take your white. This is the part where you can also use your blender pencil, your blending stumps, scam saw, whatever you have that you want to blend with. Your preferred blending method. Mine is white, just especially for skies. And we're going over this whole thing. Okay, I am going to come back with a little bit of that other blue, so I'm going to leave that like that for now. I'm going to transition to this side. And sorry about my hand here. This is tricky to do left-handed without turning the book. But I want to make sure I stay where everyone can see. So kind of creating a nice circle cloud effect. That's also the cool thing about white. If you go in circles, you can see where it kind of brings up that darker. Just want to make sure for the most part I have the same effect going. So now that I got my transition line where I want it, I'm just kind of blurring it out. I don't need it anymore, so we can hide it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take this little pencil here, and I'm going to kind of do same thing. All the way up. Kind of doing up and down by the edge of the paper because I want to make sure I get it all. But for the rest, I am trying to keep my strokes the same direction. Okay, we are blending that blue and yellow. These parts right here under this cloud, I plan on fixing up and hitting once I get my clouds in. So I'm not going to worry a whole lot about those just yet. I know it's going to look kind of unfinished, but I'm not going to worry about it just yet. I'm going to get everything else in. Okay, we want that line to disappear. Okay, moving over. We want a nice smoky effect on that one because we don't want anything too harsh in the sky. Skies don't have harsh lines. Okay, and that blends beautifully up with that yellow right there. And then same thing. I'm going to turn this just a little because this seam is kicking my butt. So same thing. First thing I want to do is get rid of this little transition line. Make sure my cloud blends out straight across. Pressing kind of hard. I know it looks like I'm pushing super hard, but I'm not. It's just the way I hold my pencil, and you can tell because I don't rotate it. You're supposed to rotate your pencil, but for this blending, I really like to just use the edge of the pencil and kind of scrub all the colors together. Okay, coming back in with my white. Now if I feel like I need to come back with that yellow pencil, I will when I get a little farther here. But now we are just kind of making sure we have no weird spots that look uncolored or anything. So I still have a little bit of a line here I don't like. I think I was going to put a cloud there, but I decided to pull my blue from the bottom up a little higher. So I'll probably fix that spot a little. I'm going to pull this. This was another cloud, and I will hit it with some gray, so I want to make sure I don't lose that if I blend it out too much. Okay, just making sure this edge of the paper doesn't look too harsh. Blending everything out nice and smooth. So I am going to add just a tiny dot of this to fix this transition right here because I don't like it. And that'll just kind of fix this straight line so it doesn't look like we have a straight line of color right there. Not even on camera, sorry. It's these big books. I should have took my page out, but I didn't want to tear apart my new Kerby book right away. This is the quickest I have ever colored in a Kerby book. Usually it takes me forever to get the courage up. And I was like, nope, we're going to jump in. We're not going to be afraid of it anymore. So this is a blender pencil, and like I said, I don't use it a whole lot, but if you want, it's great for small areas. Watch when you hit the ink, because it will take your ink. So like in between these mountains. Over here on this edge where I've got tons of pencils stacked up here. The only thing about using a blender pencil is watch for wax bloom because it is colorless wax, so it is adding wax to your page even though it's not adding any color. Okay, I want to add a little more white under here because I feel like these are turning kind of murky and not as sunshiny as I want. I don't want murky. So I'm going to put a little white right here and then I'm going to bring up my yellow. And see, it's a nice, easy fix. I'm going to do the same over here. I just don't like that murky look. I feel like it takes away from the brightness of everything else going on. So just a little white. And then we will add this yellow in. And then it'll hit that white instead of that blue and it won't be so murky. Okay. So I still feel like it's pretty straight. So I'm going to make sure when I touch up with my blues that we have a little combination here. All right, so for the moment, I got a wild spot right here. If you got too much wax, erase it out and start over. That's the best you can do. Okay, so I still will be blending these. I am going to do a dot of Gamsol on it just to get it a smoother effect. So I'm not going to worry too much about it just yet. But I am going to go back in with that dark yellow on top, make sure it's still there. Like I said, I want to leave a couple lines of darker. Okay. Gonna come in with our Canary Yellow. Trying to stay on camera here. We're just going right over the top of all of it. Not hard, medium pressure. Just enough to blend those together. And if you get any harsh lines, the cool thing about this orange and yellow is they layer on top of each other perfect. So you can just come back with your orange and add a little more. 1 second. Okay, had a little one in the background that forgot I was recording. She was... Okay, remembering I got that nice bubble around the sun I don't want to interfere with. And I'm going to leave it just like that. Cream. Fixing that nice bubble blend around the sun now. And then when we get the clouds in, it is really going to pull this together. Okay, so now is when I'm going to take my Gamsol, and give me 1 second because I wasn't planning on using it, so I didn't pull my stuff out. I like to use, if I can find one, these fat Q-tips. These are the ones for like babies, because they don't, once you start using these ones and they wear down, the plastic on the inside can start leaving lines on your paper. So I really like these ones that have a little more cotton on them. And I just barely dunk it in there, because a little dab will do. And then I'm going to start at my yellow. And I'm going to switch ends when I go to my blue. I am not going to mix. So once I start getting down here, I'm not going to touch a whole lot of my blue. Making sure I got all that nice and blended. Try not to get this on the other page if possible. Probably should have something over it. I think it'll be okay. It's just a couple trees, nothing too serious. It's not like the main image. I have never had a problem with Gamsol in the other side of my page. It dries fantastic. It does not, if you overdo it and accidentally get too much and leave a oil spot on your paper, it will dry and disappear. It does not leave the oil spot like baby oil does, which is helpful because I've done that a few times. Okay, so we are just making sure everything is blended to our satisfaction. Your pencils will still work over this if you change your mind. Sometimes they even work a little better because you don't have to press as hard because you already got the oil on there to break it down. I'm going to flip to the other end of my Q-tip. Tiny amount. I'm not soaking it by any means because I don't want those oil stains. starting at the dark blue and going up. So I gotta remember when I go up, I have dark blue on this side I want to hit too, because I don't want to. Okay, so just trying to keep the colors the same here. We don't want to mix too much. I really like that spot in the sky right there. And I don't want to blend out that spot I put in too much, so I'm not going to overwork it. We're just breaking down the pencil. Okay. Now, it still might be a little bit too straight of a line. But I can fix that. This is where I use that blender pencil, so it's coming off weird. But I'm still going to blend over it, and then I will come back and fix it. So I still want the whole sky to have the same blend effect. So if I avoid that spot, we're not going to get the same detail we're looking for. It is fixable. If nothing else, put a cloud there and hide it. There is always a way around it. Okay, I'm going to dab that just a little. I'm just going to pull all that blending pencil off if I can. Alright, now that I think I have everything the way I want it, we are going to give it a minute to dry, and I will be back to show you the clouds. Okay, so while I was waiting on that to dry, I went ahead and whited out this cloud right here, and it's going to be really hard to see because I did go over the black lines with gel pen. I didn't do it on camera because it takes forever. I am going to show you the sun real quick. I'm going to turn this a little bit. So with gel pens, I know everybody uses them, and it's kind of basic, but I've noticed if you go super slow, because you don't want to go over, back and forth, or it's going to erase the gel pen you already put down. So nice and slow. And just let the ink flow. You might have to let it dry and go over again. If you've missed anywhere. Don't want it choppy looking, so I want to be super careful. On the clouds, it is not a big deal because I'm going to hit it with eyeshadow anyway, but the sun is going to stay like this, so we really want to go nice and slow and even. I'm starting to just kind of pull in a little. It is up to you how thick you want your line. If you want to just cover the black line, or if you want to pull it out a little. That is how I do that, and I just think it really pulls it all together. Now you can see as it dries, like right here, the black is starting to pull through. I am not going to touch that at all until it's completely dry. Probably not even till the end of the page. Okay, next step, and I'm going to leave this kind of upside down because I think you can see it a little better. We're going to work upside down for a minute. Is the eyeshadow. So I am going to first pull a darker gray, and I am going to use a cotton ball. Nope, just kidding. I am not, because these clouds are smaller. Going to use a Q-tip, get a little on there. And we are just gonna, where the clouds are overlapping, it will lighten, so if you get it on there dark, don't worry, because we will mix it and everything, so not a big deal. And you don't necessarily even have to follow the lines. You basically want the cloud. Kind of like we did the sky. You want the bottom of the cloud darker, fade up to light. If you go over your gel pen, it's not that big a deal. Okay, just kind of smoothing that out a little. That is our darkest. Okay, I'm gonna pull this warm gray. So this is the one I used for my darkest. I'm gonna pull this warm gray. Mine is a little sparkly. It doesn't really bother me. It doesn't show up on the paper, so we're just gonna finish off that cloud. Now, if you don't want it to look like a dark rain cloud, I'll show you what we do. See, I didn't go all the way up to the tips there. I use the clean end of my Q-tip. I go over to this side and I'm going to pull this nice creamy color right here. And I'm going to put it on there. And that keeps my cloud light. Blends in nicely with the grays. I'm going to touch up a couple of my gel pen lines. You can do this before if you want. Sometimes the gel pen on certain eyeshadows doesn't work as well, but there is one cloud. So I'm just going to fix a couple spots. Yeah, see, it's like the creamy eyeshadow does not like gel pen. You can also do this if you are talented with acrylic and a paintbrush, which is what I might do. Just because I want it to look really nice. Pencil wax, there we go. Just kind of putting those lines back in that pulled off a little bit. So that is how we are going to do our clouds. So I am already at 32 minutes, so I think I am going to pause there, and I will be back for part 2 for water. I hope you join me. Thanks for watching. Questions, comments, leave them down below. If you decide to do this page and you want to join in and see how others have done it, feel free to post it on my Facebook group. I will have an album. See you soon.